people, watch and learn about the water scarcity on Texel. You will see.
We are Group 22, the sea gooseberries. Global climate change is putting a risk to freshwater supply, not only by drought, but also by intruding the water through flooding, especially apparent on the Wadden Islands. Our research is focused on the freshwater scarcity issue of Texel. Texel attracts many tourists, being 1 million per year, which puts pressure on the freshwater supply. The average tourist on the Wadden Islands uses even more water. Since 1989, all the freshwater supply to Texel is transported via pipelines from the mainland, which is limited by the maximum capacity of the pipes. Other sectors, such as agriculture, are working on ways to reduce their water consumption considerably by showing severity of the situation. Our research objective includes researching the awareness, responsibility and adaptability of tourism operators regarding water scarcity by handing out surveys to hospitality providers on Texel. Therefore, the general research question of our research is: to what extent have tourism operators taken measures to adapt to water scarcity on Texel now and in the future?
Hospitality providers that feel responsible for the freshwater scarcity on Texel are more likely to implement water-saving measures at their accommodation, now and in the coming 5 years. We asked different kind of questions to tourism operators focused on hospitality providers, especially hotels, farmer campings and vacation parks, to get an overview of what measures they already have in their accommodation and what they might consider implementing in the future. We were curious if they have been affected by water scarcity and who should take what measures to reduce this. These questions are focused on the awareness of the hospitality providers. We made a list of possible measures hotels and campings are likely to have. The hospitality providers were asked to check the boxes for the measures they implemented in their accommodations. We put this in the survey to see if hospitality providers take responsibility, if they feel partially responsible for the water scarcity problem on Texel. Next to the surveys, we got to talk with the hospitality providers to get a better insight of how they feel about water scarcity. We made notes of this and took this into consideration for the discussion. The map of Texel shows the places that filled in the survey. We visited around 50 places, but did not show these on the map to keep it clear.
Looking at the first 4 questions, we made a 5-point Likert scale, ranging from agree to disagree. On average, hospitality providers partially agree to questions 1 to 4. However, opinions do vary a lot. Thus, on average, they are of opinion that the tourism sector contributes greatly to water scarcity. They can partially mitigate it and are willing to. Questions 1 and 4 show a positive correlation, meaning that hospitality providers who believe the tourism sector can partially mitigate water scarcity are more willing to address this. Only one hospitality provider has been affected by water scarcity, being a camping. When looking at the amount of water-saving measures individual hospitality providers have taken, we see that every hospitality provider has taken at least 2 measures and none has taken more than 6 measures. We observed that hospitality providers showing more willingness to help mitigate water scarcity have actually taken more water-saving measures. At last, we compared different accommodation types. Campings have taken 3 measures on average, but this amount does vary. All 4 vacation parks have taken 3 measures, and hotels have taken the most measures with an average of 4.
Data, but while pure numbers are very valuable, there was also a lot of information we learned outside of the survey through either our own observation or things we were told by the tourism operators. In general, we were told that tourists feel less as responsible for their waste while on vacation, and this would also apply to water usage. This could be because the simple fact that they are not near their homes, and any damage they might cause will not affect them. However, the problem doesn't lie with tourists only. We've noticed that a substantial part of the hospitality providers were uninformed about the issues revolving water scarcity, with us often receiving dismissive responses when we approached them. We also noticed, however, that there were quite a lot of gold and green keys, which are essentially ecological seals of approval, meaning that the accommodation that has them is very ecologically friendly. This is also reflected in their data, as these accommodations answered more in favour of them alleviating water scarcity, meaning that these green key labels aren't just for show, but that these lodgings really do care about the environment.
Our conclusion is that tourism operators, the hospitality providers on Texel, have taken on average 3.6 measures to limit their water usage. Next to the 6 measures we used in the survey, hospitality providers came up with other measures such as the upflow shower or time management on the shower to reduce water scarcity. From our initially stated measures, a minimum of 2 measures are set in place in every accommodation, which are the water-saving shower head and the awareness program. Hospitality providers with the most measures implemented are the hotels with an average of 4.2 measures. Campings have an average of 3.2 measures and vacation parks have an average of 3 measures implemented. Additional measures hospitality providers are willing to implement in the coming 5 years is saving rainwater with, for example, a rain barrel. Some hospitality providers want to upscale their already implemented measures, but not everywhere in their accommodation. We have found no correlation between responsibility related to water scarcity and the number of measures implemented by hospitality providers. However, we did find out that there might be a correlation between hospitality providers who are willing to address water scarcity on Texel and the number of their implemented measures. More willingness might lead to more measures implemented, as already shown in the scatterplots before in the survey.
We encountered hospitality providers that were on a sampling plan that were closed or even still under construction. This decreased the amount of data that we got, which made it more difficult to draw our conclusions from the data with just 19 surveys. After we found out some places of our sampling plan were not able to fill out our survey, we switched to convenient sampling. This sampling method might have caused a decrease in the reliability. In our dataset, there's quite some variation with outliers. This could be due to the variety of opinions or because of the misinterpretation of the question. Also, not all surveys were filled out by a manager or owner, but sometimes by the receptionist, because this was the only person available for a survey. This might have influenced our results since the receptionist could have a different opinion.